beautiful spring day here in Morgantown, and so we went inside today. But practice 13, we got after it. I know y'all were there for hour plus on Thursday. Had a big team run. Took off for the weekend, and then came back today. Had kind of a normal practice. Going to do a bunch of teamwork on Thursday and shells, and then finish with the spring game. And for the spring game, we'll get to that. We're going to divide them up into two separate teams and play a game, and it'll be quicker than a normal game, but we're going to play a game and let them get out in front of the fans. The forecast looks beautiful, so hopefully we'll have a quality crowd here to come out and see the guys on Saturday afternoon. I wanted to touch base on Thursday and kind of tell you after watching it, each group, ones and twos, got about almost 50 reps. A little bit of tackle, not much. Mostly kind of thud work, which is what we'll do on Thursday as well. And the threes got about 15, 20 reps. These are kind of the guys that stood out. Start with special teams. Danny King had a really good week last week. Field goal kicking and kicking off. Won a couple competitions there, so I wanted to make note of that. Defensively up front, Sean Martin had a really good day on Thursday. TFLs, couple sacks. And then Zach Lawton, who's playing three different spots up front. He moved around and did a nice job. Bandit, Linnell Carr, and Jared Bartlett both played really well on Thursday. Linnell continues to improve. He's probably been our best pass rusher this spring. Linebacker Lee Koba continues to show growth and becoming more comfortable in the defense and communicating overall. And then Lance Dixon, he had his best day as far as in team. And then defensive back wise, Charles Woods had a really good day. Ruffin had 2 interceptions, best day he's had on defense since he's been here. And then Aubrey Burks had a nice day. He's starting to grow into that role, and I like his demeanor. He's calm, plays the pass well, getting more comfortable getting downhill in the run game. And then Davis Mallinger was more consistent. And so defense won the day on Thursday. Offensively, up front, Jordan White has had a nice spring up to this point, playing both center and guard. And then Jaquay Hubbard had a nice day on Thursday, playing at right tackle, played a little bit of guard, but playing at that right tackle spot. Did a nice job technique-wise. Running backs got off to a slow start, but then Justin Johnson had a nice day. I think y'all saw a couple nice runs while he was there. Been impressed with him. And then Lynn J starting to understand what we're asking him to do. And he had one really nice play while you all there with a one-handed catch, and then he had a couple nice runs later on. And then at wideout, Sam James has had a really solid spring. I like where he's at from a mental approach and production-wise. And then Grayson Malashevich probably had his best kind of scrimmage-type performance in the stadium there. So those are kind of the high points from what we did on Thursday. So with that, I'll take questions.
Neal, just overall through the spring, have you gotten done what you want to get done? 13 practices in.
Yeah, so I'll have a better evaluation of that post. Right now, and really what I've harped to the guys is we get 15, we're going to use all 15. And so today, I think that we talked about this. I want to really put the quarterbacks in some situations. We did two different 2-minute situations on Thursday, did a 2-minute today, a lot of red zone work today. I think those are important. What I've talked to the team about is just situational awareness. That's a focus for the week. Understand the clock, down the distance, where we're at on the field, and being better within those situations. But as far as looking at it, all 15 together, we'll wait till the end to do that.
Yeah, to pick out an area where you are making progress, what would you say off the top of your head?
Yeah, defensive backs. Because really Charles Woods is the only guy that's played significant playing time here at West Virginia. And so those guys, you see them getting better. I've been pleased with their communication. We're really athletic. We can run, and I've said that, and that was a point of emphasis. We wanted to be more athletic. And we simplified some things to make it easier on them. But you can see them, steadily improving as we've gone on and want to continue to do that through Saturday.
Mallinger, does he stay at Spear, or is he still a guy you can bounce around?
Now, he's going to stay there. I think that's his best position now, going into the fall. Will he be there his entire career? I don't know. He can definitely play on the roof as well at safety. But there's a lot less thinking involved down there at Spear, and it gives us ability to play some man coverage.
Speaking of Spear, you said St. McLeod. You try to get an answer on his health.
Yeah, he's. I talked to him yesterday. He's feeling better, and he, as far as when he can work out and everything, told me he ran. So I think wounds are healing and seems to be improving.
Formats of spring games, they seem to change one school to another, from 1 year to another. Is it entirely up to your roster, and is that harder than ever now, or do you have like a goal you want to have every year? How does that go for you?
So just kind of where we're at. It's like where you're at as a football team, and we're going to split up into a game. I don't want to necessarily tell you exactly how we're going to do it because I'll do it after Thursday practice where I know exactly who we're going to have available. We're going to do some ones versus ones work within that, Mike. We may not tackle the whole time because I think that's where you got to be careful. You get through and it's more of an exhibition, so you don't want to get people hurt in an exhibition. But it's also for these young people that haven't performed in a stadium in front of a crowd. It's a really important evaluation. So I think there's a fine line. I like the competition piece of it. So as much as we can have it, we tried to have fun with it last year. This year it's going to be more of a true game and divide them up and put them on teams, put them in separate locker rooms, run them out, and let them play and see kind of where we're at.
At 13 practices now to watch Graham's offense. What are some of the things that you're observing that you like that you've seen through 13?
Yeah, so I think within the pass, let's talk pass game. I think he's got answers. I think his teaching of the quarterback within the pass game I've been impressed with. It's simple for the offensive players, but it's complex defensively. And then he's done a really good job making rules within it. And so and I think it's his way of teaching the staff, and then thus the staff teaching the players has been productive. We haven't had very many missed assignments. When you're introducing a new offense, that's something that's not usually the case. And then within the run game, I think he's done a nice job of formationally getting some advantages. And I think he's grown as well with some things that we've done here in the past. Well, as far as RPOs and some things in the screen game. So again, I don't want to speak until we get all 15 done, but I like the progress we're making.
How's the nomenclature and all the terminology that been an issue at all?
No, it hasn't. And I think that he was, which I think says a lot about him, is he's came in and a lot of the things in the run game that we were doing we'll continue to do, and he left some of the calls up front, because we got everybody returning up there. So I thought that was important. I think it showed humility on his part and showed his ability to kind of, it's easy for him to change than all five of those guys up front. And so, and then with the skill guys, like I said, very, very few communication errors and very few missed assignments, which means they know what to do and they're learning.
Your evaluation of the right tackle spot, you talk a lot about Hubbard. Obviously, Yates
Yeah.
has played a lot.
Yeah, Yates has played a lot. So Yates has had really an unfortunate winter and spring. He's had a couple injuries, and then he was out for a while during the winter, and then he's missed a run of practices here with another injury. He came back, practiced on Thursday of last week, practiced today as well. So hopefully he'll finish strong. I think he had a better day today. He's played a lot of football. He really has. And, at times I thought really game 7 through 12 last year, I thought he played at a high level, did a nice job, especially the Texas game. You go back and watch him play against Texas, and, man, there's a lot to like about how he played in that game. And so I hate it for him just because this winter and spring, through no fault of his own, they're all in injuries that he incurred that he could not have helped. He just hasn't been able to go through the offseason and the spring practice that he would like to. The good news for him is he's played a lot of football. he's still got these last 2 practices, and more importantly, he's got the summer session to get in shape, and he'll be ready in the fall, and we have high expectations for him.
Along that line, you mentioned Jaquay Hubbard reshaped his body in the offseason. How is that translated when you watch him on tape to what he looks like now compared to a year ago?
Well, he's quicker off the ball, and the body transformation's been going on for 2 years. So really going into the fall of last year, he had shed a bunch of the weight that he had when he was at Virginia and during his first year here. And so the difference is he was coming off, he had shoulder surgery, and so he missed some time. So last fall, his weight was in a good spot, but he didn't have the strength. And so he went through the developmental group during the fall, and then he had a great winter. So now his weight stayed the same, but he's gained strength. So he's stronger with his punch. He's able to withstand. He's able to get some movement in the run game. So that's the difference for him compared to a year ago.
Talked to Polende last week. Impressive guy to talk to. How did you find him? How did you come across him from Colorado State?
So he's been impressive. I love his approach. He's a great teammate. Guys love him. He's the same every day. He's consistent, which I think is a great compliment. He's extremely physical. He has great self-awareness. He knows who he is. He's not trying to be somebody he's not. He knows he has to be an overachiever. He knows what his role is on the football team. And then a lot of credit goes to Travis Trickett. You know, we had our objective. We wanted to get a tight end in the portal. Our objective was we wanted to find a blocker. That was a blocker first and foremost, and somebody that had done it. We wanted somebody that had played and had experience, and he played a lot. You know, he played a lot at Colorado State, played a little bit in Miami, but played a lot at Colorado State. The other tight end there who won the Mackey Award was really good receiver and a pretty good blocker. And the thing that stuck out on Brian's film is he played his hand down and in that hip position and was really physical at the point of attack. And so, and he's been what we thought he would be, a very positive contributor. He'll contribute a lot in the fall. He's going to help us in the run game without a doubt.
I remember correctly, he played behind a really good tight end at Miami.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, 18 maybe.
And so he's been in rooms like. And the other thing too is they played a lot of 12 and 13. So even though they had the Mackey Award winner last year at Colorado State, Brian still played a lot of snaps.
Catcher-wise, where is he?
Improving. Yeah, improving. He's caught more balls this spring than I think he's ever had in his life. You know, and he is. He's understanding spacing better. His ball skills improve, which credit to him. He really worked on it in the offseason. You know, he really did put a lot of time and effort into it, and they're improving. He had a nice third down catch on Thursday.
So you have that May 1st immediate eligibility deadline. I would imagine that when the game ends Saturday, so inevitably some people are going to think about stuff like that. What type of work awaits you all, not only in-house, but like, you know, outside where people may become available, you have to get eyes on and make a decision on?
Yeah. So I think they have to go into the portal, right? And so there's still going to be still be an area of a time of evaluation there, but it'll be a busy time in the portal over the next couple of weeks. I think the spring games are kind of tiered as I looked at them nationally. Like some of them had the 9th, 16th, 23rd. That's kind of where the brunt of the games fell. And it's usually the week following is kind of when things start happening in the portal. As far as our guys here, there'll always be a surprise or two, but you got to focus on it. I think that's something we'll do in the week after is really in some one-on-one meetings before our guys go out spring evaluating, recruiting. We'll have some one-on-one meetings and give feedback. I think everybody wants feedback and, you know, kind of what they need to work on, what they need to sustain, what they need to improve, moving through the summer and into fall camp. But yeah, I think you have to be aware of that for sure.
You've talked a lot about portal needs for yourself. Has that changed any in the spring? Is like, ooh, we're worse here, we better get a guy, or we're better there, we don't need a guy?
Nah, I don't think so. It really, you know, it's been about numbers and playing, and I think that, you know, kind of what I stated to you all in the past is kind of where our eyes are.
Your three quarterbacks, how are they handling things entering this final stretch, and I guess what's a big occasion for them on Saturday?
Yeah, I think that last Thursday was big for them. I think this Thursday will be big for them, and then Saturday will be the kind of the final test of it, is they've been up and down. I think that there's been times, man, where just talking about them individually, I think Garrett is operating at a better level than he has. I think the game slowed down for him. He's throwing the deep ball extremely accurately right now, which is a positive. He's got to eliminate the big negative plays. I think for him is not making bad plays worse. Every once in a while, just, hey, play the next one. Every play's not going to be a big one. For Goose, it's about confidence. The change of scheme probably affected him because he just now gotten the previous scheme down, so he had to kind of restart after a year. And so he's starting to – I thought he had a really good day I wouldn't say really good, but he had his best day Thursday, and I thought he was better today as well. And so everything's just a little fast for him, and it's starting to slow down. Nico, I think that it is a really hard transition, especially in the first spring, and because the game is so fast. And so you can see some real flashes. Like he had a great drive. I think you all were there in the stadium on Thursday. He had a great drive. Had a phenomenal play, the best play he's had. He had a naked out to the right and did a really good job getting his shoulders around. It was a good progression, and it was a touchdown. He had another drive that went for a touchdown in the stadium on Thursday. But he's also turned the ball over some, which is to be expected. And not all of those are his fault, but what really sticks out to me on him is he's hungry. He hasn't repeated the same mistake very often, which I think that's a sign that somebody is spending a lot of time away from just what's required. So all three of them, they've had a really good mindset. They're competitors, and they want to finish the spring and was sending the message of fan base that they're more than capable, without a doubt.
You said earlier in the spring you needed more from your Bandits.
They've answered it. Yeah, I was really pleased with them. I thought they had their best day Thursday collectively. I think really over the last, you go back Tuesday, last week, Thursday, and then Tuesday today, they've had really good finishes. Now hopefully it'll continue through Thursday and Saturday, but they've answered that. Linnell Carr is coming on. He's been a guy that we always knew had a lot of raw ability, and it's just about being consistent in his daily habits, which this spring, sometimes you never know when the light's going to come on, and it's came on for him this spring, which has been encouraging. And then Bartlett has shown flashes throughout his career. What we've wanted is to make some of the routine plays more frequently, and he's doing that. I was really pleased on Thursday. I thought he played just a really solid game. It was clean, and so both those guys are definitely making improvements, and we need them to.
Freshman wide receiver Williams, how big has this spring been for him? And
yeah, he's probably got more action than he thought he was going to. He's been thrown in the fire. He's been as consistent as we've had. He's got great hands. He understands how to use his body. He needs some time to develop. His legs are starting to get a little heavy because he's had a lot of work. Quarterbacks really like throwing it to him, and he competes out on the perimeter. He's got a chance to be a great special teams player here as well, so we're excited about him. We talked about him last night as a staff, just liked how he's approached his daily work and the level of improvement he's had from the beginning and up until now.
One more on the quarterbacks. How you split them up on Saturday? I know you've had rotation. One guy one day, one guy another.
Yeah, so they'll probably break the rule and they'll play for both teams. Yeah, I don't have an answer for you just now, Mike. We'll try to do a good job of before the game, kind of telling y'all how we got the team split up and giving you some ideas on how we're going to do the quarterback reps. I'll have Mike go through the press box.
Is there any reward, win or lose?
We do a nice, it'll be a nice lunch since we go in the mornings on Monday. So it's, we've been doing that. So I can't remember what the menu is, but it's basically, the equivalent of steak and hot dogs. So, oh yeah. And there's a lot of pride on the line too. That's probably as important as anything.
How much has the transfer portal, the comings and goings of it, changed the way you have to coach? I mean, you don't know what's going on.
Bob, do we want to go through this? I think we're on limited time here. No, it's changed. I think that without a question, I think for everybody, it's changed. What you can't do is you got to hold guys accountable, and you got to require guys to meet standards. And I think there's certain things that are non-negotiable, and you got to continue to focus on that. All right. What it's done is it's made you focus on retaining the ones you want to retain, and understanding that you're not going to save them all. And I think that's something that's different. Managing a roster is a continuous order. I don't think it ever stops. And so I think those are the things that jump out, right off when you ask that question. I could probably ramble on here for 20 more minutes, but those are probably the most direct things.
Thinking of a guy like Jefferson, and some of the guys you got on the D-line, I think you're at a place now where you've got the size to be able to deal with some of these bigger teams that have given you problems where before you were more about quickness and gaps and so forth. Is that just kind of a manifestation of being with Mike for 3 years and being in the system and the program and all that?
I think it's two things. First of all, Mike's done a really good job, and I have a lot of faith and a lot of trust in him. And those guys are older. Second thing is, really after the Texas game 2 years ago where we lost right at the end, it became really clear that we had to be bigger, and what had happened is we've played really good defense here, right? And our D-line has been extremely productive. Our system is built for our D-line to be productive. And we've had success with smaller guys, and I think there's still a place for that. But we haven't had as much success with some of the teams that are bigger and the most physical teams and the best at running the football over the last 2 years. And I'm talking about while we've played defense at a high level. And so we knew we had to be bigger and we had to be more multiple. We couldn't just be a group that just lined up and played games and moved the front. We had to have the ability to play a true 4-down front. We had the ability to get in and play with a nose and 4 eyes against some of these teams that got in 12 personnel. And so what we did from a recruiting standpoint is we were hunting versatility and we were hunting length, and we had to get bigger. And so I think when you roll out there and in your first group, is we looked apart. We got size, and I think Jordan Jefferson's a great indicator of Coach Jackson, Coach Leslie, but also Coach Mike. He's a guy that going now into his 4th year in the program, he's ready to play at a high level, and he did that at the end of last year. But I think he's a great example of, hey, he's playing the same position as Darius Stills, and he can be as good a player as Darius, but he's doing it in a whole different way, Yeah, he is, and we're not moving him as much. We're not asking him to do the same things. But I'm really pleased with how he's come on, and he's played really well this spring, and I think he has a chance to be a difference maker for us.